Hey there, you mighty, mighty movie lovers. It's me here with another video for you all. Today, we are going to be talking about one of the funniest movies ever made. Of course, I'm talking about the 1994 comedy Dumb and Dumber, starring the amazing Jim Carrey and the fantastic Jeff Daniels. So, if you've ever wanted to learn some hidden facts about this movie, wanted to hear my full movie review, or just want to hang out with me for 10 minutes, then sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Let's do this thing. We're starting off today's video with some hidden facts about the making of Dumb and Dumber. First up, did you know that Dumb and Dumber was actually based on the slapstick comedies of the 1920s and 1930s? Yeah, you heard that right. The movie was inspired by the Three Stooges and other classic comedians of the era. Now, if you've seen the movie, then you probably know where they were going with this. The physical comedy and the slapstick humor in Dumb and Dumber definitely evoke that old-school vibe, and I think it's part of what makes the movie so funny. It's like watching a modern-day Three Stooges movie, but with some really clever writing and some fantastic actors. The Farrelly brothers really captured the essence of slapstick in this movie, and I think it's one of the reasons why it has stood the test of time. Now, speaking of the Farrelly brothers, they have said that they wrote the script for Dumb and Dumber specifically for Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. Now, I don't know about you, but I think they couldn't have made a better choice. Like, can you imagine anyone else playing Lloyd and Harry? I mean, I love those guys, but it's hard to imagine anyone else in those roles. And apparently the feeling was mutual because both Carrey and Daniels were big fans of the Farrellys' previous work on the movie Coneheads, and they were excited to work with them again on Dumb and Dumber. In fact, when Carrey read the script for Dumb and Dumber, he immediately called the Farrelly brothers and told them that he wanted to do the movie. He was so committed to the role of Lloyd Christmas that he even shaved his eyebrows off to make himself look more like a dope. That's dedication right there. Speaking of commitment, both Carrey and Daniels had to undergo some pretty intense physical comedy training for their roles in the movie. Like, have you ever tried to make a funny face while balancing a briefcase on your head? It's harder than it looks. Now, apparently, both actors had to go through rigorous training to learn how to fall down, bump into things, and generally just make fools of themselves on camera without getting hurt. And let me tell you, it shows because there are some really impressive stunts in this movie that would put any action star to shame. From the coffee shop fight scene to the ski resort showdown, these guys are really putting themselves on the line to make us laugh. And I gotta say, it's working. I mean, who doesn't love a good pratfall? Alright, now before we move on to the next section of our video, I want to take a moment to ask you guys for a favor. If you're enjoying this video so far, could you please do me a huge favor and hit that like button? It really helps out and it encourages me to keep making videos for you guys. Thank you so much. Okay, now it's time for my full movie review of Dumb and Dumber. But before I get started, I just want to remind you that this is my opinion and that you should always feel free to disagree with me in the comments below. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and I love reading what you guys have to say. Now, let's talk about this movie. So, Dumb and Dumber is a story about two friends, Lloyd Christmas and Harry Dunn, who are trying to make their dreams come true. Lloyd wants to become a limo driver, and Harry wants to become a race car driver. However, both of them are pretty bad at what they do, and their dreams aren't exactly realistic. That's why when Lloyd accidentally leaves a briefcase behind after giving a woman a ride to the airport, he and Harry decide to set off on a road trip to Aspen, Colorado to return it. Along the way, they pick up a hitchhiker named Mary Swanson, who turns out to be the woman whose briefcase they took. Lloyd and Harry didn't know this at the time, though, and they continued on their journey without realizing that they had kidnapped her. Oh, and not only that, but the briefcase actually contained ransom money for a kidnapped child. But of course, Lloyd and Harry have no idea about any of this. They just think they're doing a good deed by returning the briefcase to its owner. But in reality, they're becoming increasingly entangled in a web of kidnapping, blackmail, and murder. But hey, that's just part of the fun of Dumb and Dumber. Who needs a coherent plot when you've got fart jokes and practical effects? I mean, the movie is pure slapstick comedy at its finest. It's silly, it's ridiculous, and it's absolutely hilarious, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. Dumb and Dumber was a critical and commercial success when it was released in 1994. It grossed over $240 million worldwide against a budget of $15 million and received mostly positive reviews from critics who praised the performances of Carrey and Daniels, as well as the film's clever writing and direction. In fact, the movie was nominated for several awards, including 2 Golden Globe nominations for Best Actor in a Motion Picture Comedy and Best Screenplay. Okay, now it's time for my favorite part of the video, the behind-the-scenes portion. This is where I get to share some of the blooper reels and behind-the-scenes footage from the making of Dumb and Dumber. So get ready to laugh and learn some fun facts about your favorite movie. So during filming, Jim Carrey would often ad-lib lines and actions that weren't in the script. This is especially evident in the ski resort fight scene where Lloyd and Harry get into a massive brawl with some thugs. Carrey, his improvisational skills really shine in this scene as he does some really creative things to defend himself against his attackers. One of my favorite moments is when he uses a ski lift to launch himself into the air and land on top of one of the thugs. It's a really impressive stunt, and it's all thanks to Carrey's quick thinking and physical comedy skills. In fact, there's a whole collection of Jim Carrey's best bloopers and outtakes from Dumb and Dumber on YouTube. You can watch it right here. Another fun fact about the filming of Dumb and Dumber is that the cast and crew had to endure some pretty harsh weather conditions. The movie was filmed in the winter of 1993 and 1994 in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Colorado. And let me tell you, it gets pretty cold and snowy in those places. But the cast and crew didn't let that get in the way of making a great movie. They were committed to telling the story of Lloyd and Harry, and they were willing to brave the elements to do it. In fact, there's a blooper reel of Dumb and Dumber that shows the cast and crew struggling to keep it together while filming in the snow. At one point, Jim Carrey is literally freezing, and he can barely get the words out of his mouth. But he powers through and delivers a hilarious line anyway. It's really inspiring to see the dedication and professionalism of everyone involved in making Dumb and Dumber. Alright, now it's time for me to wrap up this video. But before I go, I want to leave you with one final thought. Dumb and Dumber is more than just a silly comedy. It's a celebration of friendship, loyalty, and the power of optimism. Lloyd and Harry may be dim-witted, but they're also kind-hearted, and they always try to help others even if it gets them into trouble. Their friendship is tested throughout the movie, but it never breaks, and that's a testament to the power of brotherhood. I think Dumb and Dumber is a movie that everyone can enjoy regardless of their age or sense of humor. It's a timeless comedy classic that will continue to make people laugh for generations to come. And if you agree with me, then let me know in the comments below. I always love hearing what you guys have to say, and if you haven't seen the movie yet, then I highly recommend checking it out. It's a great way to spend an hour and a half, and it'll leave you feeling happy and entertained. Well, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye.